Hi there, Josh here, welcome to Frames Per Second. Today we're shooting the Hasselblad X-Pan, and got a little treat for you. We're shooting some motion picture film, but not the one you expect. Today we're shooting some Fujifilm Eterna 250D. Now this is a long discontinued motion picture film. I believe Fuji stopped manufacturing motion picture film mid-2000s or late, like 2007, 2008 area. But yeah, I got my hands on some. It might have some fogging due to being expired motion picture film, but we'll see. Maybe it was still well, but we'll find out in the future. So let's get out there, shoot some film. Okay, so here we are shooting some Fuji motion picture film, and it is Eterna 250D Vivid. So it's meant to be a bit more vibrant than the standard version, but being Fujifilm, it just has a different vibe and look to it to begin with compared to the Kodak stocks that we've used before. And yeah, you can go back to those videos, have a look. And here, the greens definitely stand out in a different way, and the highlights have more of like a cooler color to it, which is very Fuji vibe wise. Like, it definitely like reminds me of a little bit of Pro 400H, but still a bit of a different look to that as well. And yeah, this was expired, so definitely in the shadows it's definitely got a bit of a fogginess to it and a bit more grain. And I did try to overexpose the heck out of this. I think I might have shot it at 100, maybe even 80 ISO. But yeah, there was definitely situations where it was a bit too dark, even though it was a sunny day. But you definitely lose a lot of shadow detail with it being expired film. But the way it handles the highlights was quite nice, and the color I thought was pretty nice, even though it was a touch cooler than I usually like. But I do like how certain colors pop out, like the reds were quite nice, and obviously the greens. And here I thought the yellows on the shirt looked pretty good, and yeah, there's something different about the highlights, which I do kind of like, and I know you can't really get in any film stock we have today. In a way, it does kind of remind me of like Sinister, obviously because it is motion picture film, but something about the highlights kind of remind me of the tungsten balanced film a bit, even though it is daylight balanced, which is interesting. But it must also be said that this film was developed in ECN2, which is the proper motion picture development chemical, and so this is how the colors are meant to look in preparation for grading. And so it definitely is flatter in its look, even though it is meant to be more vivid. The colors do still turn out nicely, and depending on the lighting situation, it can be a bit more dynamic. But yeah, this was meant to be for cinema, so there is a color grading process to that is different. And so yeah, I did make some adjustments, not a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the film. You're meant to be able to make adjustments so for creative purposes, but also just because each shot might be a little bit different and you need it to look a bit more cohesive, so you adjust exposure and color temperature a bit. This shot, I thought the film handled the overexposure really well, and yeah, I just thought the highlights turned out quite nice. And yeah, it's kind of got that coolness to it, even though I did add in a little bit of warmth. There's that coolness to the highlights, which I just think is so interesting and unique. And yeah, I really can't think of a film that kind of has that kind of vibe, except maybe shooting tungsten film in the daylight and warming it up a bit. Which, yeah, I think that does make this film stand apart a bit. And I think that, yeah, it's kind of a shame that Fuji left the motion picture film business around the mid-2000s. I know that Brokeback Mountain was one of the last films to be shot with it, and even then I think it had been discontinued and they had to scramble to find the last rolls of it. But yeah, there's definitely something unique about it, and it is a shame that Fuji has definitely been trying to get rid of their film department, because they do have some great film stocks, and there's quite a few that I like that have been discontinued, which is sad. But yeah, I had fun shooting this film and I really like the results. I want to shout out Nathan McGee, who I got the role of, and appreciate it. And he also has a YouTube channel, so go check that out as well. I'll probably chuck it in the description. And yeah, I just think it's a great film, and I wish I did have another roll of it to use, because I think it's super interesting and unique. And it is kind of sad that, yeah, it's not around anymore. But classic Fuji, discontinuing films, and we all know that they should change their name from Fujifilm to something else at this point. But yeah, I do like the results I got. And overall, I think this is one of the rolls I was more happy with the shots for the week that I had the X-Pan. And yeah, I hope I get to borrow another X-Pan in the future, maybe even own one, because it is a lot of fun and it is a good quality camera. And yeah, I really enjoy this aspect ratio. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, guys.
So that's all the time we have for today. Please let me know your thoughts on the camera, film, the images in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe, turn on this post notifications so when there's a new episode. Anyway, I'm Josh, this has been Frames Per Second. Hope you've been enjoying the X-Men content. Just get out there, shoot some fun.